Thanks very much for asking me about my best tips for young entrepreneurs.
One bit of advice for an entrepreneur starting out?
One advice that I would give to startup entrepreneurs is...
My advice to any entrepreneur would be...
Credibility. The hardest bit to do, to establish when you're just starting, is how do you get credibility? How do you make people really believe that your idea that you think is great is going to work? So there are lots of ways of doing that. Obviously getting credible investors, brand name investors helps. Getting great people on your board can also help. That's one of the things we did at lastminute.com. We got the former chairman of KLM on our board when we were only 10 people. Any suppliers that you could deal with, any other validation. So just get validation from brand names that ensure that people think that it's not just a good idea, but you're going to do it well and better than anyone else.
Bootstrap it as long as you can. Get a working product, try to find some customers, and try to generate some revenue before you go raise money from investors, because you're going to get a much higher valuation for your company if you actually have a working product with customers than if you just have an idea. So no matter how much money you need, you'll be able to sell a much smaller piece of your company if you have a working product with revenue. So that's my advice.
Keep it lean. If you haven't read this book, read the book, The Lean Startup. And what basically this means is get your first version of your product out as soon as possible, learn from it, and iterate, and then move on to your next phase. Because you're not going to nail the product the first time, and no matter how perfect you want to get it, you're not going to make it until you actually test it out and put it in front of an audience. So keep it lean.
Essentially do it. I think I've talked to a lot of people in the past who talk a lot about doing things but never actually get on and do it. So I think you need to stop talking and actually start doing something. And probably the quickest way to do that, and it's actually the cheapest and the safest way actually, is to start talking to other people about your ideas. So a lot of people think it's dangerous to talk about ideas because maybe someone's going to steal your idea. You know what? Actually, that never happens. What happens is people listen to your idea and then they say, hey, that's a cool idea, but it could be better if you did this. And actually, that's how things improve. So I would encourage you to start doing, not talking, and also in doing, start talking to other people about the idea, really so that you're sharing that idea so you can get their feedback to improve it. And from there, things can start.
When you're young, you kind of think you know everything. And the truth is, you probably don't know quite everything you need in order to succeed. So my best advice is, before you cock up and make a mistake, ask for some help and advice from mentors that you might be able to trust. And even if you don't know if you can trust them, find someone else to recommend a mentor to help you just solve the next problem that you want to solve as an entrepreneur. That's my tip for the day.